Crawford guy.
He was the first man to become undisputed.
All right.
2 different times. I mean, the way he's moving up and down the scale of the weight classes and dominating these fighters, well, nobody thought he was going.
Canelo Charlo, because I feel like that's a big fight to be made as well.
So you'd fight Canelo?
Of course I would. He's a legend. Everything's a possibility, especially when you're at this level right now, at the very 1%. Crawford's very hard to beat. Very hard to beat. I'll be honest with you. When I say Charlo, I say a lot of gaps, a lot of holes. But Crawford, yeah, he's number 1 pound for pound for a reason. But that doesn't mean that he's unbeatable.
He knocked out Zab Judah one time.
I remember that.
Oh my God, I've never seen that happen before.
And that was when Zab Judah was Judah.
He was the thing.
Yeah, he was the thing.
And everybody was like counting down how many seconds is it going to take for him to end Kostya Tszyu's life.
Yeah.
The debate for the number 1 pound-for-pound spot has been raging for years, usually dividing fans into bitter, warring factions. But Kostya Tszyu, a legend in his own right, isn't mincing words with a prediction that defies boxing physics. We aren't talking about a casual opinion from a commentator. This is the thunder from down under, a man who knows exactly what it takes to clean out a division and stand alone at the top.
Title in like 4 bouts.
Right.
Incredible.
Yeah. I used to love watching Kostya Tszyu.
Oh, yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah, he was fantastic. And his son, he's got 2 boys, and they're both up-and-comers at the moment.
Yep, yeah.
Tim just lost for the first time. And
yeah, I watched that fight.
Nikita,
yeah.
That was crazy, that fight.
Crazy fight, crazy fight. Kostya Tszyu was a murderous puncher.
He was fantastic, man.
Yeah.
He knocked out Zab Judah one time.
I remember that.
Oh, my God, I've never seen that happen before.
And that was when Zab Judah was Judah.
He was the thing.
Yeah, he was the
thing.
And
everybody was like counting down how many seconds is it going to take for him to end Kostya Tszyu's life.
Yeah.
And it simply didn't happen.
Well, he was so slick and so elusive himself, and Kostya Tszyu just planted one on him. Well, he planted a couple on him, but one big one that really rocked him. And he had that little rat tail. That was his thing.
Well, that's the thing with Kostya. I think he had, nearly 300 fights or something as an amateur to start with.
He did the consequences of him hitting you. He was just such a murderous puncher that even if a guy was slick, it was just you needed to make one mistake. Boom, there it is.
Tszyu is looking past the massive size difference to expose a specific technical reality. This isn't just a hot take, it's a masterclass blueprint. And Tszyu is ready to explain why skill is about to conquer size.
He stopped Super Judah for the first time, man, and that was amazing the way he did it. That was how you shake up the hometown and the home crowd. He came to America and really made a statement.
To understand why Tszyu is so adamant, we have to look back at what happened in September 2025. This was the moment the impossible became reality. Terence "Bud" Crawford didn't just move up in weight, he jumped straight into the fire against the face of boxing, Saul "Canelo" Alvarez. For months leading up to that fight, the narrative was suffocating. People said Crawford was too small, that 168 pounds was a bridge too far, and that skills have limits when physics gets involved.
I think it's a ridiculous fight myself. I think that Crawford is too small. Canelo is, in my opinion, the face of boxing right now. I think that look at his resume. I think it's a good fight for a little while. Crawford's hand speed will, just like when Golovkin fought Kell Brook, the hand speed was evident at the beginning of the fight, but as the fight goes on, Canelo's going to start pounding on him, and I think that the fight ends somewhere between the 9th and...
I think Crawford could beat Canelo Alvarez.
I think he's too small, but then again, I thought he was too small for Spence, so shows what I know. So I don't know, I think that's...
This is the crux of Tszyu's argument. In the history of this sport, undisputed is a rare badge of honor. To do it once is Hall of Fame material. To do it twice, like Crawford did at 140 and 147, is legendary. But to climb all the way to 168 and snatch all the belts from Canelo Alvarez, that is the specific achievement that Tszyu believes separates Crawford from everyone else, including the heavyweight ruler, Oleksandr Usyk.
Say hi.
What's going on, everybody? All my Australian fans. What's up with it?
And Russia as well.
And Russia as well.
Thank you, my friend.
Yes.
It's important to clarify that Tszyu isn't throwing shade at Oleksandr Usyk. In his breakdown, he was careful to pay respect where it's due. Usyk's resume is flawless. He cleaned out the cruiserweight division and then went on to dominate the heavyweights, recently defending his undisputed status against Daniel Dubois in July 2025. A record of 24-0 with no losses is nothing to scoff at, and in any other era, Usyk would be the undisputed king of kings without a second thought. However, Tszyu's perspective offers a more nuanced take on greatness. While Usyk stayed at heavyweight to defend his throne, Crawford took the risk of moving up to challenge a naturally bigger man who was considered invincible in his own right. Tszyu points out that Usyk hasn't fought weak opponents. Far from it. But there is a difference between beating the challengers in your division and moving up to dethrone a legend in theirs.
Are you aware, I assume you are, but let me ask, of the old adage in boxing, the great big man beats the good big man beats the good little man?
But that's what they say, but it's not always the case. You know, when you look at all the great little mans that moved up in weight, they beat the great big man. You know, a lot of people, they running with that narrative. Who came up with that?
Well, they just noticed through the years, man, for 100 years, you're right, there have been examples.
I'm saying, who came up with that?
I don't know if there was a...
See, don't nobody know.
I can't name the person.
Don't nobody know who came up with that, and everybody just running with it because they don't know what they talking about. You know, when we look at the history of boxing, more little men moved up in weight to be the bigger man than boxing. More little man, when you talk about Floyd Mayweather, when you talk about De La Hoya, when you talk about Pacquiao, when you talk about Sugar Ray Leonard, when you talk about Roberto Duran, when you talk about Canelo Alvarez, when you talk about Terence Crawford, when you talk about Shakur Stevenson, I can name fighters for days that was smaller, that moved up in weight consistently and was successful.
For Tszyu, the P4P ranking isn't just about who wins, it's about who takes the biggest risks and succeeds. Usyk is dominant, but Crawford is transcendent. That willingness to chase greatness across 3 different weight classes is what edges Bud ahead.
Crawford guy.
He was the first man to become undisputed.
All right.
2 different times. I mean, the way he's moving up and down the scale of the weight classes and dominating these fighters. But nobody thought he was going to dismantle Earl Spence like that.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that.
Well, hold up. One person did.
I mean, yeah. I mean, okay, even though Thomas said that, but we didn't think he was going to do it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We knew he was going to beat him. We didn't think he was going to do it like that.
Like he was going to dominate him like that.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Earl Spence is one of my favorite fighters. You know what I'm saying? He still is having a tough time coming back around. You know what I mean? So when fighters are doing things like that, that's the level of greatness that I'm saying that we gonna.
There is a deeper layer to this endorsement that goes beyond just watching fights on TV. You have to remember who Kostya Tszyu is. He was the undisputed champion at 140 pounds, the same weight class where Terence Crawford first truly announced himself as a generational talent. There is a game recognizes game element here that can't be ignored. Tszyu looks at Crawford and sees the mirror image of his own philosophy: precision, timing, and a complete intolerance for mistakes.
The most exciting power puncher in boxing history. Don't adjust your TV sets, you're not looking at Tim Tszyu, you're looking at his spitting image, his father, Kostya Tszyu. With 25 knockouts out of 31 wins, this 80% knockout king took the 90s by storm. Only losing once in his prime by an upset, Kostya was handing out NyQuil to everybody in the 90s. This exciting power puncher mixed his Soviet style with the Mexican come for style, and it was fireworks. What made Kostya exciting was he was susceptible sometimes to going down himself because his balls to the wall style left him open. But Tszyu would rise like the Undertaker to knock out anybody who floored him. The Thunder from Down Under is one of only 2 men to ever drop and TKO legend Julio Cesar Chavez. Tszyu's one-punch knockout power had people discombobulated with their brain not communicating with their legs. Possibly the greatest 140-pounder to ever do it. What other junior welterweights in history do you think hit harder than Kostya? Tell me in the comments.
When Tszyu speaks about Crawford being on the list of the greatest boxers of all time, He is validating the technical mastery that defined his own career. Both men share a cold, calculating approach to violence. They don't just brawl, they solve puzzles. Tszyu's endorsement carries more weight because he understands the mechanics of what Crawford is doing in there. He knows how hard it is to maintain that power and speed while moving up in weight, because he lived that life of discipline.
Fuck, he looked good, eh? Just boxed his ears off. Simple boxing. But you know what? I thought it was close. It was for me. I scored a 116-112.
Tszyu sees the intellect behind the punches. When Crawford fought Canelo, he didn't win by being stronger. He won by being smarter. That intellectual dominance is what resonates so deeply with Kostya.
We stuck him in, mate. I could feel it in the back. You feel the pressure. Nice to see you. You made it, huh?
Here is where things get a little complicated and, frankly, a little awkward for the Tszyu family. While Kostya is busy declaring Terence Crawford the greatest of all time, his son, Tim Tszyu, has spent the last few years trying to hunt Crawford down. Tim has been vocal about wanting the biggest fights, calling out both Canelo and Crawford in a bid to secure his own legacy.
Hopefully we can get the winner of Canelo Charlo, because I feel like that's a big fight to be made as well.
So you'd fight Canelo?
Of course I would. He's a legend. Everything's a possibility, especially when you're at this level right now, at the very 1%. Crawford's very hard to beat. Very hard to beat. I'll be honest with you. When I say Charlo, I say a lot of gaps, a lot of holes. But Crawford, yeah, he's number one pound for pound for a reason. But that doesn't mean that he's unbeatable. He can always find something.
It creates a fascinating dynamic. You have the father praising the very man who stands as the ultimate gatekeeper to his son's glory. Tim Tszyu carries the family name and the pressure that comes with it, and he has linked his career trajectory to fighting the best Bud has to offer. For Kostya to come out and essentially say, "This man is untouchable," adds a layer of psychological intrigue to any potential future matchup involving the younger Tszyu.
Well, like I said, you know, in boxing, anything is possible. Anything can happen. So you don't ever want to make it seem as if you know for sure. But Fedor is definitely the favorite, and he definitely, you know, have. You call Fedor a favorite? Yeah, for sure.
It makes you wonder what the dinner table conversations are like. Kostya is objective enough to admit Crawford's superiority, even while his own bloodline is trying to chase him down. It proves that Kostya puts boxing truth above everything else, even family bias. He isn't going to pretend Crawford is beatable just to hype up his son's potential rival. The aftermath of Crawford's victory and Tszyu's subsequent praise has also served as a massive "I told you so" to a large portion of the boxing community. If you look at the forums and social media threads from before September 2025, the atmosphere was incredibly toxic.
I love Terence Crawford. He brings a ton of skill into the ring, but he's been extremely inactive. I love Inoue as well. He's done some phenomenal things in the lower weight classes, but this right here, man, you know, becoming undisputed at cruiserweight and going up to the heavyweight and facing a guy that haven't been beaten in over, I don't even know how many years, man. You guys can do the math. You guys are smart out there. And Tyson Fury, who I highly, truly believe is a great heavyweight champion, or was the great heavyweight champion. It's unbelievable, man, and nothing that Terence Crawford has done in his career, or nothing that Inoue has done in his career, is greater than what Usyk has accomplished on Saturday night.
Doubters were everywhere, claiming Crawford was aging out, that he was just looking for a paycheck, or that he was delusional for thinking he could handle Canelo's power.
You know, it's easy. Like, we don't have to fake it. All we got to do is write their accolades down, see who's done more, and it's there. The proof is in the pudding. No, people gonna call in like they did yesterday. They're gonna say, no, Crawford is number one based off skill set.
Are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
It's like, whoa, you can't do that. It's what you done gets you in the list.
So to me, what Crawford had done previous to Canelo's loss had him at number 2.
To you?
To me.
Okay.
I had Crawford at 2.
Oh, wow.
I had Crawford at 2, Usyk at 3, right? So it was just a shift down, and Canelo dropped to 3.
So Usyk's opponents weren't better than Crawford's, and somehow you have Usyk under Crawford.
I have Usyk under Crawford, but Crawford...
Usyk beat champions, not vacants. Like, the runs are different. That's what I'm saying. Like, the runs quality.
A lot has been made about the pound-for-pound list. I've been on record saying you're my #1 pound-for-pound. But the 3 guys that everyone talks about are you, Oleksandr Usyk, and Terence Crawford. Where do you rank yourself amongst the 3 in the pound-for-pound conversation?
まあでもいつでも自分が一番だと思ってやってますから。
Me too.
Tszyu's breakdown highlights how foolish that talk looks in retrospect. Tszyu's assessment validates the hardcore fans who stuck by the principle that skills pay the bills. By cementing Crawford as #1, Tszyu is essentially closing the book on the doubters. He is reminding everyone that in boxing, opinions don't matter until the bell rings. The experts who wrote Crawford off ignored the one thing Tszyu saw clearly. Generational talent doesn't fade just because the opponent gets bigger. Crawford exposed the critics, and Tszyu is making sure nobody forgets it.
Well, I must say, I'm Bud County all the way.
Bud
you know
County,
what I'm saying?
right?
I've been following this guy for a long, long time, man. Southpaw, switch hitter, and he's a two-fisted monster.
Yeah.
You know, he used those hands better than anybody.
So where does this leave us? According to Kostya Tszyu, the debate is finished. Oleksandr Usyk is a legend, a future Hall of Famer, and a dominant force who deserves every accolade he gets. But Terence Crawford stands alone. To become undisputed in 3 weight classes, ending with a victory over Canelo Alvarez, is an achievement that might not be matched for another 50 years.
Pound for pound right now,
We got me, we got Inoue, we got Canelo, we got Usyk.
Put Davis in there?
We could put Tank in there.
Who you struggling with? If it's not Tank off top, who you struggling with?
Thinking about other fighters, you can put Tank in there.
You and Tank Davis, you guys have gone into it a little bit. Would you be able to give an opportunity to a 35, 40 pounder?
At what weight? 154?
Would you entertain it? Let's say 47. Let's say
I ain't going back down to 47.
You ain't going back down. You don't want to cut the weight.
I can't cut the weight.
Tszyu's breakdown forces us to look at greatness differently. It's not just about winning, it's about how you win and who you dare to fight. Crawford dared to be great, and in the eyes of the Thunder from Down Under, that makes him the undisputed king of this era. It leaves us with one lingering question. If Crawford has already conquered the impossible, is there anything left for him to prove? Or are we simply watching a victory lap for the greatest fighter to ever lace them up?
Is Inoue better than Crawford?
But listen, whichever way you slice it, Inoue, Crawford, and Usyk have to be in the top 3. My argument for Usyk is size. He's fighting people that are biologically not just bigger than him, but his opponents have the most physical variety in terms of height, dimensions, styles. That is the most diversity.
If there was a fighter that I wanted to fight for my life, I'm picking Crawford.
Yeah.
Like, that's if based on ability and technical ability, like Crawford ain't getting dropped by Lewis Nery. Inoue though, based on the fact that he's fought at multiple weight classes and he's won the most belts out of the 3, you can give him a claim to be #1.
The technical diversity of Crawford's resume and then the physical diversity of Usyk's resume. And I think based on that, Inoue comes #3.
So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.